Hey everybody! I've been watching the chat. Actually popped in a couple seconds early, but I just thought I'd go ahead and get on here and start chatting with everybody because I can see you in the all of the chats, and I'm super excited. I saw Arlene. I know Mitzi's here from Altenew with us today. She's going to be helping out, which is great. We've got an exclusive coupon code from Altenew, and we are going to be playing with paste. I've done a little bit different with my camera today, so I'm excited to show you. I'm trying to zoom it in a little bit more on these live streams so that you can see better. So we'll see how that does today. Today we're going to look at 3 different ways to use paste. And really, it's way more than 3 ways, but 3 was a better number than 4 or 6. So we're going to be making these 2 cards. I'm going to zoom in on them in just a second. But if you've ever felt like you struggle a little bit about what to do with that paste, that I've got some ideas for you today, and I've tried a new experiment that I wanted to show you because I thought that it made it a little bit easier to create a kind of different look with stencils. So we're going to do that. So hi Abigail, hi everybody. I'm so glad all of you are popping in. Let me get it to my overhead camera and we'll look at these cards a little bit closer. We're going to also be looking at the new release from Altenew and showing you lots of cards from that. So let's see what you think about this overhead view and see if it's too zoomed in for you or not, and we'll get that ready before we get going today. Okay, let me pop my little face back up here. How do y'all think about this? I zoomed it in a little bit more. I want y'all to be able to see these details better. And I see I've got somebody from Kentucky. Hello. I saw somebody from Nebraska, and I saw Arlene. She's my fellow Tennessean. And of course, we've got Rachel, who is Card Refinery, in the chat. She's going to be popping in links for you because we have some special things. We also have a giveaway, and this giveaway is from one of my fans who's cleaning out their craft room and sent me some stuff to give away. So we've got some fun little things that we'll do through the middle of this live stream as well, and I will also do a replay giveaway. These are little things, but they're really cute, and I think it'll just be fun for you in the mail. Okay, so Delina says this looks good. You think that this is nice as far as how zoomed it is? Okay, well, these are the cards we're going to work on today, and we're going to have to kind of work on them consecutively, and that's because we're going to be using paste. Here's what we're going to use today. This is called Shimmer Relief Paste. I am going to be using the color Mayan Gold today, and this is a little bit more orangey of a gold. My exclusive coupon is going to have Enchanted Gold, and I'll show you the difference between the 2 of these, but this one shows up a little bit better on this really dark paper that we're going to do. Oh, good. Somebody's got a birthday month. Yes, that's awesome, Tamara. So basically, I would love to know, has anybody tried this paste yet? Anybody tried using the Altenew Shimmer Relief Paste? Tell me in the chat. I just want to see if we're beginners, if we've been playing with it some, kind of where we are in our crafty journey so that we can get through this. So what this looks like, and this one's a brand new one, so let me open this other one. I'll show you the difference. So Enchanted Gold will be in your coupon bundle if you decide for this one. This is the one we're using today. It's a little bit darker gold. This one's called Mayan Gold, so we'll be using this one today. All right. Yes, Patty, if Patty's in the chat, I don't know if she'll be in the chat today or not. She may be working, but Patty sent the stuff in for the giveaway, and that was super sweet of her. So we're going to have some fun with that, and we'll make sure to say thank you, Patty Gates, for sending some stuff to give away. Okay, let's look at these 2 cards. I'll briefly tell you, and then we'll get started because we need this paste to dry while we're here, okay? So what we're going to do is this beautiful, sorry, I have to play with since I've zoomed it in, I don't have to go quite up as high there, but we're going to be using some paste here. We've got this beautiful sunflower card. These sunflowers are part of the new release, and they are so fun, and so is this stencil in the background, okay? This is also part of the new release, and this one, when I put this card together, I was super excited about it, but I didn't know what social media would think about it, and they have really loved it. I love this green color. This gold looks perfect with it, and we're even going to play with embossing folders and using this paste on vellum. So if you can see, we've made some little additional things. This card basically uses this embossing folder and this die. So we'll play with that. So fun. Thanks, Lynette. So this one is definitely the most striking, I think, of the two, but I love these dark, beautiful colors. And let's get started on the background of this one. I want to show you what I experimented with to create this beautiful gold texture in the background. And it is a stencil, but I'm going to show you how I did it with the paste that made it, I think, look a little bit better. At least for something subtle in the background. Yeah, sunflowers are my favorites too. I love sunflowers. I love every flower, but I just love the way sunflowers look on a card. They look so beautiful. So here's what we're going to be using, and we may even add a little extra to that card today. This is the other card that I created for the release. We're not making this one today, but I wanted you to be able to have a little look at it while I grab some other stuff. Yes, the gold is beautiful. So here is our this is another embossing folder. It's called Love Preserved, and that was in the release. We're going to start with this piece of paper, and this is the colored cardstock from Altenew called Winter Lake, I believe. Let me pull it over here for you. Yeah, it's called Winter Lake, so you can see the name. It's called Winter Lake. We're going to add a little to it, okay? Hi. And remember too today that if you are purchasing from Altenew, I have a link that takes and pre-populates the coupon into your cart so that you will have that. It's 40% off one of the embossing paste, the shimmer relief paste bundles, okay? So we're gonna be using Winter Lake. We're gonna add a little bit to it. Let me grab all these supplies. We're gonna use this stencil with it called Paper Echoes. I love this stencil. And then I'm gonna get some gloves and some paste. Before we go ahead and do our paste, I'm gonna add just a little bit of darkness around the edges. You know I love to do that to create that kind of spotlight effect. Oh, thank you, Nancy. So Nancy, can you see better? One of the reasons that I zoomed my camera in is Nancy was having a little trouble seeing it, and I thought, you know what? If Nancy's having trouble, everybody's having trouble. So I need to make sure to make this a little bit tighter in so that people can see and get that nice view. So this is called Paper Echoes. That'll be in my supply list. And I'm going to add some dark blue around this edge. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my sticky mat, and then I will show you what I played with this relief paste or shimmer relief paste. So it's got a long name. It's Altenew Shimmer Relief Paste, but sometimes that's a little bit of a mouthful. So I'm just going to call it paste most of the time. Hi from South Carolina. Awesome. Sorry, I got to look for my colors here. So here are the sunflowers that we're going to be using. If you've been wondering sorry, it's hard for me to figure out how much that is. Let me grab this blue color, which I thought I had in here, but I don't see it. So let me grab it. Yeah, here it is. So in this same color family right here, there are inks, and this is the darkest. So this is called Winter Lake, and it has 4 inks that are in this same color family. So one nice thing that Altenew does with their cardstock is that they make it where it matches the inks. So what I did is I grabbed the next darker ink, which is called Arctic Mountain. Thank you on the vellum. Oh, thank you. Happy to have you, Nevada. It looks like Sylvia's here for the first time. So we're going to add a little bit of color to this outside edge. Now, Altenew cardstock is a colored cardstock. It's a little bit rough, so it's not something that's super easy to ink blend on. So I'm going to use a bigger ink blender to get some of that color down without hopefully making too much of a mess. So sometimes you just need to adjust based on how smooth your paper is, what size. So normally I use a size like this, like one of these, but this is a really small one and it doesn't give you as much grace as using just a little bit bigger. So today we're going to be using this brush. And make sure today that if you have questions that you pop up your question, just put the word question and then put it in the chat. Okay. All right, so Nancy is looking for the Altenew link, and I know that Rachel will be putting that in the chat for her. I think I just saw it right above there, so hopefully she got it for you. And you see how this just adds a little bit of color to this outside edge? That's all I'm doing is just creating a spotlight. So we're going to go around the outside edge, and then we're going to do our fun paste. So are y'all getting good weather where you are, or is everyone still in the snow? We have gotten, as you can see, I got my short sleeves on today. We are finally getting into some nice weather here. I don't know that it'll last forever, but I'm in Tennessee and it is just gorgeous outside. Saw Pennsylvania, I saw Nevada. I bet Nevada's warm. All right, and so the paste, I'm going to sit this right here just so that if you're wondering what we're using, you can see it again here. I think that won't be in my way if I leave it there. Well, it actually will be in my way. Okay, we'll try that again. We'll go ahead and get this part done. This isn't going to take us very long. We're just adding some blue around here. Once again, this is Winter Lake is the color of the cardstock, and this is an Altenew cardstock. And I'm using Arctic Mountain, and we're just going around the edges. Nothing super fancy here, just adding some darkness around the edges. It can even be kind of blotchy because we're going to do so much to this paper, nobody's going to notice. Okay, so I'm going to try to do it quickly since we're doing it live and we got to get to that paste part. Yeah, I heard East Tennessee will be cold again next week. I'm enjoying the short sleeves for right now. Took a nice long walk, so I'm enjoying it while I can. So I'm just kind of bringing this in to create kind of a lighter and then a darker. And yes, it looks a little bit probably choppy because I have, I'm just doing a real fast job here. But I'm using this bigger brush and that gives me a lot of good color. Just gonna make sure we got some dark along the edges. Feel like I need to bring it in. Sometimes that happens with my camera, sorry. Occasionally you just get a full shot and double me. I don't know what that is. Okay, so let's add a little bit here. I think that looks pretty good. And I usually go around in a circle like this just to kind of make sure I got my nice center point because we're gonna put those amazing flowers on it. And once again, Winter Lake, Arctic Mountain. Now we're gonna go right into the stencil. So with this stencil, I know that my flowers are I've already played with the flowers and I know they're gonna be here and here. So I'm gonna try to put some color where the flowers are not. And if you need to see that, we can look back at this one. I know that I want to have my flowers kind of here and here, and I know I'm gonna put some kind of sentiment here. So what I'm going to do with my stenciling is I'm going to create some background in the areas where those flowers are not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this stencil on. Okay, and we're just going to add a very tiny bit. I want to show you one thing that I have been using regularly with this. This is, these are Post-it notes that are like a clear plastic. And so when I want to add a small amount of paste, I don't have to clean up my mat. If I put that there, you could also just use a scrap piece of plastic. Yes, Mimi says, question, just to confirm the coupon is good for the paste bundle. Yes, the coupon's good for the paste bundle. That's all that we have a coupon for today. Okay, so I'm gonna get my paste out. I'm gonna put gloves on because I don't wanna have to, I just think it's probably safer with something like this to put your gloves on. We're going to use this gold. You can see I've used almost all of it. And I am going to put very small amounts and rub this with my fingers. So instead of using something like a palette knife or something like that, you use your finger to get that nice kind of distressed mixed media look without the paste just standing up and being really obvious. Okay, I'm gonna get a sip of water. Everybody doing okay? Okay. All right, we got any questions I haven't answered? So usually with a stencil, I'm grabbing tons of paste and I'm going like this. This time, I'm going to put a little bit of paste over here on my mat, okay? You don't really need a whole lot. And then I am going to take my finger and I'm going to tap it and just get a small amount on it, okay? So even tapping it off because I don't want a whole lot. And I'm going to kind of do the rule of threes where I do here, here, and here, okay? So we're going to do just a little bit of area and we're going to spread it around. And so I'm just going to kind of go over it like I was ink blending and just add this generally to these little words. And I'm just going to add and smear it in. You can dab a little bit in too. You just want to kind of dab it along to get a nice thing. If you want this to be brighter, then you can go in with a palette knife and do it. But I had fun doing this, and I thought it was kind of an interesting technique. So that's what we're playing with. You know, I love experimenting. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Marcy, what was the question? Can you pop that up again, Rachel? Saw a question. See if I can see it back. Okay, so the paste bundle, I believe that Rachel will be popping that in. Okay, so these words are made to be kind of vague, and they don't necessarily have, it's not something like you're going to read for the most part, but it looks really cool in the background. So we're going to keep doing a little bit of mushing. And I'm just doing this section and 2 others. So I'm doing this with my finger and just kind of spreading it in here. Just a light coat. This is something I experimented with and I thought it looked really cool. So I'm showing y'all this technique because it's very fun. Oh, I got my storage for my brushes from Altenew. That is an Altenew storage thing, if that's what she's asking. Okay, let's see how we're looking here. So one thing about this, you can remove this stencil and do it again, and we can kind of get a little peek of how we're doing. See how that's looking? Oh, it looks so good. Okay, I'm going to keep adding a little bit because I want it to kind of come into this area. And you see how I'm just moving that around. Okay, and then I'm going to come kind of right here because I know that's about where I'm going to have some open space with these things. So I'm going to kind of come in this area. Like I said, I'm going to do it in 3 places because sometimes 3 places is just a little bit more appealing to your eye. And so I like to add my stuff into 3s. I think that's actually called the rule of 3s. And I'm just going to smush it in. Yeah, this paste is super fun. I love how sparkly the paste is. It's just got a great shimmer on it. So, and you can do this, like you don't have to, you could do the whole thing like this. You could do just a little section, but this was just kind of me taking the look of what I've seen, um, mixed media artists like Tiffany Solario. She does a lot of cool mixed media, and she loves to put these kind of scripty sentiments on here. And I just thought that this was kind of a cool way to do it is to rub the paste in. So I'm going to play with this a little bit because it looks a little bit different than just sliding it on. It's not quite as tall, which I think looks really cool on these. And you can get the effect where you have more in one section and then it just kind of fades out to a little bit of gold. So it looks really fun. So this stencil is called Paper Echoes. If you are here hanging out with us, make sure you hit the thumbs up, okay? That helps people see this on the replay. And I appreciate that very much. Make sure if you're shopping today that you use my coupon code. That would also be helpful. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out. And let's see here. So things that are coming up that I was going to tell all of you about. I have a class coming soon at the end of February for the Card Maker Success Summit. Has anybody been to one of those before? I know a lot of you found me through those summits before. So I'd love to hear who's been there, but I am doing a class on fun folds, and that is on February the 26th through the 1st. There are free and paid ticket options, and I've got a giveaway, so just FYI. Okay, so I've got my 3 areas, 1, 2, 3, okay? I am going to look and see how these look. I feel like I need just a little bit more right here. Hang on. Okay. And I also don't want to waste my paste. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this glove off so that we can see our results and I don't accidentally get some on there. So here's how it goes. Look at that. Oh man. Doesn't that look cool? Ooh, I love it. I love it. Let me show you. Can you see that? So it's just a really cool kind of mixed media look to it. We're gonna need to let that dry for just a second. Okay, so I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm leaving this here because we've got another plan that we're gonna need to let dry too. So we may as well go ahead and do parts of the other card that also need to dry, okay? So we'll set this back here, let it dry. This is another tip from the mixed media artist, is to use something that gets some airflow below. This is like a little cookie holder, and I'm gonna set it behind me so that we can let it dry. Oh yes, yes. So let me wipe off my stencil, and then we are going to work on our green card. Okay, so we got the green one that has all those nice time things on it. I'm gonna move this over. Since this is a sticky note, I can reuse it, but I'm gonna move it off camera just so I don't get any of this excess stuff on here. And we need to do a little bit of cleaning. So tell me if you have any questions yet. We're about to work on our time card, which is the one that looks like this. So we're going to use an embossing folder, we're gonna use some ink, and we're gonna use that paste on it. So yes, so I'm gonna get this off my sticky mat really quick because I got just a little excess there. And I have that blue ink because remember we were ink blending. So I'm gonna get this off so that we can do some different color ink blending on this green one. Look at how much is on there. It's so hard to tell when it's on my sticky mat, but there's plenty on there. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to wipe off this stencil just a little bit, sorry. Wipe. I didn't bring myself a little bucket to put these in, so I'm gonna have to wipe this off really quick because you know I don't want to mess up my stencil. Yeah, time card, not the kind you punch at work. Yeah, I know. What else could I call that card? Help me with a name, Arlene. I don't know what to call it. Timeless. It's the timeless. What's the name of the thing? Misty will know. What's the name of that die? Timeless something? What is it called? Timeless Sands. Okay, Timeless Sands and Traces of Yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. Not an actual time card like at work. We're gonna punch out of work. Okay, so here we go. Set that over to the side. And let's look. So this is what color we start with. This is Olive Grove. Yes. Oh, thank you, Tamara. So Jerry, this is a sticky mat from Altenew. This one is stained. They really look like this when they start out. They're usually clear and they're sticky. Absolutely my favorite thing of the entire year. I think they came out this year and I love them. Okay. So we're going to use this embossing folder. We are using this color, which I believe is a new color for March, called Olive Grove. It's a really nice olive color, and we're going to add a little bit to it, and then we're going to emboss it with some extra pressure to make a really defined, nice thing. So I'll show you how we do that. Let me close my embossing page just for a minute till we get to that point. Sorry, this one has a lot of cleanup. Okay, hourglass. Yes, hourglass. Oh gosh. Thank you, Rachel. You know, sometimes finding your words when you're live can be a little bit of a ordeal. All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of color to this, and then we're gonna emboss it. So same as I did for the other, I'm gonna use a big green embossing, or not embossing, okay, so Olive Grove is the actual color here. Oh, I'm getting some color on my hands there. Let me wipe those off. What do you clean your stencil with? So normally I would say if I had remembered, I would put my stencil in a bowl of water, but I did not remember to do that today. So I'm going to do it as soon as it's over. I'm going to stick it in a bowl of water, and I'm going to use a little scrubby brush to clean it today because I don't have that here because I was working on getting ready for this live and did not do that. I used a little bit of Windex and a paper towel. So just got my paper towel wet and wiped off the excess. I'll do some scrubbing on it later. Yeah, and did you see my email? You see my email? I think I emailed you, or you emailed earlier today, and I emailed you back, and you are entered in the giveaway for the Card Maker Success Summit. So, no, she was emailing me. So, things that are coming up, I got to tell y'all what is so exciting while I do this. I am almost at 30,000 YouTube subscribers. That is a big accomplishment. I'm so excited, and I'm gonna have a huge celebration. So early April, we're gonna have an Instagram hop, and it is gonna have, I have so many sponsors, we're gonna have all these prizes. So make sure if you aren't on my Instagram that you are there, or you're at least on my newsletter, which Rachel will pop some links in, or you can find those in the description of any YouTube video that I do. Make sure you're following there because there's going to be a lot of prizes. Speaking of prizes, let me show you what we got today. Today for the live, I'm giving away this, and this is from Patty. So we'll say thank you, Patty, for sending this to Nicki. She sent it to me just to give away. It was an extra she had, and it's this Find Joy stencil. So I'm going to send this to someone during the live stream. So just stay tuned. I'll tell you what to comment in a little bit, and we'll give that away as well. Okay, so this embossing folder, when you first saw it, I was like, well, it could be a great masculine card, which is why I picked the green, because I thought my kids, I have 2 teenage boys, and my husband really love masculine cards. So that's kind of where I was going with this card. I thought the olive would be really nice to be a great, beautiful card. And I think this olive green is a great masculine color. I know that I'm making kind of a mess here, but I'm just doing a little bit of a quick one. Alrighty. Yeah, thank you, Patty. So Olive Grove is one color. I'm going to add just a little bit darker. I think it is, let's see, granite or green opal. Okay, I'm going to do just a little bit of mossy granite. We're going to see how this one does. And I'm not even going to wipe my brush off because this is just a little bit darker color. And we'll end up adding some darker to this anyway over the top. I just want to get some down before we get it in our little embossing folder. Now with this embossing folder, I'm going to send it through a Spellbinders Platinum 6. And earlier when I did this one, I ended up adding a little extra to the sandwich because I felt like it just gave it even more of all of this amazing texture. So I'm going to spray the back of it, and I'm going to add extra pressure to our embossing folder. So I'm going to spray it with water. So we've got some water here. Yeah, thanks, Patty. And I don't even know if Patty is here today. I was hoping she'd be here so she could see that I was giving away her prize. She'll catch it on replay, though. Oh, hi, Cindy. Okay, so I'm going to take just a little bit of water. I'm going to spray the back just slightly. Okay. Just got a little bit of water on there. And then we're going to send this through. And I know it looks like a mess now, but just trust me, it's going to work out amazing. So let's send it through this embossing folder. It's got all these cool clocks. And I'm going to feel, I want to press that. So I'm feeling, this is the indented side, this is the raised side, okay? So I'm going to put it raised side this way. And I'm going to look through the front and decide how I want this. Try to make it even. Line it up a little bit. I want to get as many clocks on there as I can. So I'm going to go kind of right about here. Okay. And I'm going to add it to this. Let me just move this out of the way. And I'll show you what I did for the sandwich. So I'm going to be using a Spellbinders Platinum 6. But I'm going to add an extra piece of paper just to get that extra deep, deep impression from it. So here's my normal sandwich. It's in plate A and a plate D, okay? So this is the normal one. And I'm just going to take a piece of paper. I keep extra paper over here somewhere. Sorry, I have to look for it. And I'm just going to slide it through. Let me grab my extra piece. This is just an extra scrap piece. Sorry, it was actually on the floor because I'd been using it when I was doing things. And you can put it inside here. You can put it on top. It just gives a little extra pressure over that. So that you can see what I'm doing, I'll put it right here to make sure we get some extra pressure. And you can go this way if you want. Let me see if that's too thick to go through. Yeah. Hang on. We're going to trim it. I'm going to trim it just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Now we got our sandwich. So is that the medium-sized brush? What is that called? I feel like this is called a small, but I could be wrong on that. Mitzi, what would you call this size brush? I think this is called the small. It's like they've got a large, and then they've got this size, and then they have those little stick ones that are, I think, called minis. Thank you, Tamara. Or Tamara, I don't know how you pronounce your name. Oh, that's good to know, Arlene. She said that she uses a Cracker Jack box as a special shim. So here's what we're doing. So the other way that I love to use paste is to make this even more amazing. Look at that impression. Is that crazy or what? It is outstanding. Look at that. Okay, such a fun embossing folder. So that's all that we need for the embossing part. We will look at adding just a little bit more ink because I want it to be just a little darker. Then we're going to add some paste to it. So if you haven't tried your paste on an embossing folder impression, I'm going to show you the easiest way. You do need to be careful or you'll just end up with it everywhere. The key thing is to make sure you have your panel flat. Okay, so flatten this panel. If you have to tape edges of it down, you have to tape edges of it down. But that's why a sticky mat helps, is because it keeps the panel completely flat. Oh, that's fine. It's awesome when you comment. I love it when y'all comment, but if you're watching the video, that's okay. All right, so let me put this aside. I'm actually just going to get it out of the way because you know how it goes if I cause whatever. Okay, so I know that I asked earlier, so have most of y'all used an embossing folder before? I'm going to use this. We're going to take some mossy groundnut over it, and I'm going to even use a little bit of black soot. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this over it. So when you do ink over raised surfaces, it's really interesting on how it catches on different surfaces. And so I'm going to take it from the edges, and I'm going to come in and get ourselves, and some of this is going to be gold and it's not going to matter, but sometimes towards the middle I love to just like make that beautiful all this like crazy texture show up better by running some ink over it once it's actually embossed. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just adding some ink. And if you hadn't done it yet too, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit the thumbs up button while you're here. That helps people see this on the replay, which definitely helps them see the coupon in time to use it and all that. So we've got an exclusive Altenew coupon today. Thanks to Altenew. We appreciate them so much for letting us have that. And it's for the embossing paste bundle. That bundle has lots of metallics in it. The one gold that we're using is actually not in it today, but there is another gold that's great. The gold I'm using is because it's on super dark paper, and this one shows up even just more gold on this paper, so that's why I picked the Mayan gold today versus the enchanted gold that's in the bundle. Also because I didn't know what the coupon was going to be. Alrighty. So I added a little bit of that. Let's do just a little bit of black soot around the edges too. So this is a distress oxide. Yes, you can mix all of these. So yes, it is a unique embossing folder. Sorry, I don't like to say very unique, but it is a unique one. So this just brings in a little bit of black along the edges and really gives it to me that extra masculine look and also just a beautiful, beautiful extra. Can you tell the difference here and here? I don't know if you can tell that on Canva or not. So I think I saw somebody who hasn't used an embossing folder before. If you get into them, I love them. I have a lot of videos on it, and I just love it. So you're gonna see me using them a lot. I love paste, I love embossing folder. I like everything that has to do with card making, don't I? But these are some of my faves. So I'm gonna add some dark around it. Look at the difference in that. I think I need to bring some down a little bit further up here. Now we're gonna go back to this sticky note, or if you have just a piece of plastic. Oh, good, Judy. Thank you for using my code. So if you have that piece of plastic still, here, I'm gonna move it down so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put on another pair of gloves, and we are going to attempt, and this is where some technique will come in, to only put it on the top level, okay? It'll get on other things, but we're trying to put it on raised areas. So you don't wanna just smash it into this folder. We wanna do this lightly. That's why I'm gonna be using my finger, okay? So here we go. Putting on another glove. Thank you, Cindy. That is true. That is true. All right, so. Oh, good. Okay, so you're very new with the die cutting machine. Yeah, so embossing folders, you do need a die cutting machine. Some people say that they've rolled theirs through like with a rolling pin, but a die cutting machine, if you've got one, is definitely gonna help. Okay, so I'm doing that same thing. I've got embossing paste on my finger. Trying not to get big chunks of it, okay? Trying to keep it as thin as I can, which is why I'm dabbing it on there. And then I'm making sure my panel is flat, and I'm gonna come across the top, okay? So here we go. And watch the transformation. Super fun. And you can always go back and add more. Just start with your light, kind of go along your gears and your clocks. I love that it kind of makes the frame of a clock show up. I hope y'all can see that on there. I know the way the sun is here, you may not be able to see it, but it is. I'll hold it up so you can see the shimmer in just a second. It looks so nice. Okay, so this big clock kind of sticks up more than everything else, so it's pretty easy to get a nice gold around it. Yes, it really can it? Arlene said, if you need a last minute card, having an embossing folder can really make it quite fancy. It's very nice. Okay, so we got a nice cover here. Now I'm just gonna lightly touch these other ones with it. You don't have to be perfect here. I just like the little numbers to show up. So I'm just kind of going around the circles. I may get a couple little gears just on the edges, just to give it some nice sparkle. And you could go all over it if you want to. These are just kind of where I wanted those gears to show up as metallic. So I just put just a teeny bit, and I just feel the raised area and barely put any on. If you want to go back and add more, you can. But just don't get too crazy with it or you'll cover the entire thing. So kind of, okay. All right, so here's where I'm going to stop with my gold. And this part will dry pretty fast, so we can kind of keep working a little bit on this one. Let's look at it. You see that gold there? It's not perfect, but it looks beautiful. Oh, good idea, Cindy. Cindy Ellen says you could also use a brayer if you want to. Yeah, that would be really, you just have to be real light. But I just love how this looks. So we got our nice background. We'll let that dry just a little bit, and let's start working on our sunflowers, okay? So we're gonna go back to that other card. Let's see how we're doing here. It's getting dry. It's getting there, but I don't quite want to start putting anything on it yet. So let's start with our sunflowers. Those sunflowers are so fun too, so they are quite beautiful. So we're using the Sunflowers layering die set. And I'm going to use some colored cardstock just to kind of make it interesting. So we're going to use some of this. So I have two colors. This one right here is actually a metallic yellow, and this is from your Paper Insider, which is a paper subscription. You could also make this paper with paste if you wanted to. So you can always spread paste on a piece of paper like this and create your own cardstock. So you can do lots of fun things with that paste, which is pretty similar. I just went for the easier way with this cardstock because I knew we were going to be doing this live, and I thought we might want to not have to worry in making all of our stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah, mini cookie rack was on Amazon. Okay, let's cut out a few flowers. We'll cut out our greenery. This is a really fun die, and this has that new keyhole system where it makes it real easy. Okay, so let's do some die cutting, and then we'll answer and chat while we're doing that and get this cute little card made. So from this, I'm going to cut out the backs of my flowers in the dark, okay, which you can tell because you have numbers. Let me hold these up to show you. You got a layering guide, but also you have numbers. Do you see that on these? They have number 1 and number 2. So you can tell how it goes. It goes like this. Okay. 1 and 2. And then you've got the other ones down here. So this is for the other flower. Let me show you. So you got 1 and 2. That makes the big flower. Okay. And then you've got the back of the flower that's going to be on this side, which has the arrows. So see how the little thing right here, these both have a triangle, which you know means they go together. It's so smart. It's so smart. Okay, so we're gonna cut out number 1 on this one and number 1 on this one in our pretty paper here. And then we're going to cut out the sentiment in this as well, which is just a note. And I used scripty sentiments. So we're gonna cut out all 3 of these things at the same time with this paper, okay? So we need the words just a note. Okay, so I'm going to use that as well. It's a good sentiment set for sure. It's an older one called Scripty Sentiments. I'll put it back here. All right, so let's get our die cutting plates. So I'm going to be using, for this kind of die cutting, I'm going to be using my Anna Griffin Impress. Okay, and I'm going to spare my paper and make sure I don't use too much of it. I'm going to cut each one of these just quickly so that you can put more things on this piece. So I know I got this flower. Do y'all do that, or do you run the whole piece through? I love to do this especially when it's nice paper like this, because you don't want to get, if you run this whole piece through, you're going to get some impressions of just the plate over here, and it'll a lot of times make little wrinkles in your paper, and I don't like that when I'm using specialty paper. So I tend to run it through with little chunks cut out of it like this. It may look funny, but it gets the job done. Okay. So let's run this through. Okay, so I've got this is my plate. I'm running it through the die cutting machine, which I have over to the side. I've got a couple of different sizes of this die cutting machine. This one's electric, so I can take my hands away. Okay, and then we're gonna put, it's always good to put your little sentiments in something so you can figure it out. The big pieces aren't quite as hard, but those sentiments, look at this. Is that cute or what? Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry, I love these sunflowers. So y'all are just going to I'm just going to be mesmerized here. So we got our 2 flowers. Put these back up. And then with the just a note, just be careful because you want to keep your little dot. Okay. So I'm going to kind of punch that out into this little container. So I'm going to stick that there. Here's my little dot. I think it went in, yep, dot. And then I'm going to set this off to the side so that I don't lose those pieces. Okay, and then these, we don't need anymore. Okay, let's cut the other part of this flower. So now we need our big pieces. So we did number 1 of each flower. Now we'll do number 2 of each flower. which I like that these don't have tons of pieces. It makes it a little easier too. This is a quick one to put together, especially when we're going live. Okay, so we'll do number 2. We're going to use this cardstock. We'll add some beautiful color, and we're going to add some wonderful, we're going to add some details. Y'all will love them. The other thing I like about having the cardstock, I really like that I have the cardstock and then I have inks that match, because that way I can add some details to these pretty easily. So I just need 2 flowers worth of this. So we're going to cut that out, and then we'll go ahead and cut our other pieces too. So we'll cut these 2. Oh, I need to put just a note up. Okay, she's putting in some links. I was trying to see if there's any questions. How are y'all doing out there? Good? Everybody liking it? Uh-oh. Helps if I push it through the die cutting machine. Okay, we got 2 more. So if y'all haven't ever, I saw a couple of you hadn't seen the sticky mat before. Tell me what you want to know about the sticky mat, because I may be doing a reel on that soon, and I want people to know like what it's good for. So help me break that down. What do y'all use it for? If you've got one, what's your favorite way to use the sticky mat? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of our die cutting just so that we can, but we'll, number 2, boom. Let's go ahead and get all these leaves cut out too. Leaves and stems. I used all the leaves. So we got leaves right here that don't really have a layering thing. Then we have a stem, and we've got these other pieces. See how the back of it is like that? So we've got a few extra pieces here that we'll need to cut out. And these are actually stuck together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It actually has 4 different pieces on that. It's crazy. So we're going to cut most of those in just plain green. Get that part done. Sorry. Questions, concerns, anything? Okay, so I'm going to use these 2 colors. We're going to cut most of it out of this, and then we're going to cut just the dark ones. I think we're going to do these 2 out of the green, which you can tell I've already done because I've got it right here. So we'll do that. Green, and then we will see what we can fit down here. I'll just run this through, and then we'll go the light green. Okay, stenciling. Okay, I use it for stenciling as well. I use mine for almost everything, so I like to hear what everybody else is using it for. Uh-oh, whoops, I didn't get any. Okay, so here's what happens sometimes when you don't get, I didn't have my plate up there. You see how that partially cut? That was completely my fault. So if somebody's new to die cutting, here's the problem. When I put this in, I stuck it like this and didn't completely cover up the die. You have to cover up the die with the same pressure that's going through if you want it to cut. So if I did this, only half of this die is going to cut. You've got to get it right. So that's what happened right there, is I accidentally had that top plate come back and it didn't cut it all the way. So you see that question? Mitzi, can you answer that question? Are you out there and able to answer? HH Love to Craft, you answer a question about finding the bundle. All right. I think Mitzi's in the chat. She'll answer for you. Okay, so we got these 2 done. We're going to do these 2 are the only ones that are going to be in dark color. And then we're going to use this light green for the rest of the greenery. So that's going to be pretty quick. And then we just need our center of our big flower, and we can start assembling and adding details to these flowers. Okay. So let's do some die cutting of these. So this is the big stem that holds the one that's kind of facing backwards. I love that they put their flowers both ways. It's kind of fun. Okay, so I got some leaves here, boom. Actually, all this is going to fit on this one piece. Okay, so I'm going to send that through. That's nice. We'll get to do all that at one time. Our next colors are going to be these two for the center. So I'm going to pile these up real quick, and then we'll cut out our centers, and then I'm going to show you what I did with all these because I did add lots of details. So we got lots of leaves. Ooh, that little bitty one. Always check your dies. Make sure you get all of them out. This little one did not want to come out. And I will say these keyhole dies are so easy because they have all of these beautiful numbers on them that helps you line them up so much easier. So we got all of our leaves and greenery right here. And let's cut out our centers, and then we can add some fun paste to these beautiful flowers. Now with your flowers, you have so many options. You could use like a petal shaper and really make them come off of the paper. It looks really cool. I wanted to make sure mine could be mailed, so I left my flowers a little bit flatter. Yeah, Altenew. I think it's only for the relief bundle. So if you don't want lots of them, unfortunately, I don't have anything for that. All right, so I told y'all that I've got that upcoming 30K celebration, which is so exciting. So make sure you're following if you're not. And if you have a friend who would love my channel, make sure to share my channel. I'd love for you to do that. And then if you haven't done it yet, I'm teaching a class at the Card Maker Success Summit. So I will be there teaching on fun folds and would love for you to join. How many of y'all came to my last class at the Card Making Stash Summit? That was in January. I know I saw some of you there. Okay, let's cut these last two. We just need, it's actually 3. There's a couple of sections. We got a 3, boom, boom. So I did this one in black, just the see-through part, I think. Yeah, black. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Black. Boom, boom. Okay. Or we could just go dark. Yeah, I'm going to do a black one too. So let me get a black piece. Okay, here we go. The nice thing is that you know exactly where the center is because you're going to line up these triangles. Oh, thanks, Becky. It was a fun summit. Oh, awesome, Diana. So glad you were there. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of die cutting, and we're almost done with these little cute sunflowers that we are going to use. They're going to be so adorable, okay? I'm going to cut a little area of this black so that, sorry, making lots of noise, so that I can fit these browns as well. So I think I already have a small piece of brown. Doesn't take much, and you could easily ink blend this if you didn't have any brown paper. That's perfectly fine. But we're going to do, our lighter color is going to be this one. Going to be our little small one. Put right there. And actually, I'm going to do both of these the same and just have the center be black, I think. Let's see what we decide here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. You could do it as espresso if you wanted to. Thank you so much, Lynette. I'm so glad you love my classes. That's so exciting. I am going to be out of town in March, everyone, and I wanted to let y'all know that if you don't see me on social media as much, it's not because I'm leaving or not doing card making anymore. It's because I'm out of town for a little while. And so I will have plenty of videos still coming out. I've been working so hard to get those ready. And Debbie, yes, there is a replay. But I've been making lots of videos for you when I'm gone so that you will not miss a beat. And I will be back with tons of lives when I get back in town. So tell me, Do you prefer stencils, or do you prefer embossing folders? Let's have like team embossing folders, like put an E in the chat. Team stencils, put an S, and let's just see who we got out here. Oh, I'm sorry, Joyce. Okay, so we got a couple of brown centers. We got this black one. Boom, boom. Okay, all our pieces of the flower are cut out. Yay. Sorry, just knocked that on the floor, but that's okay. Now let's put them together and add some fun details. Okay. Get this out of the way. We're gonna get our sticky mat back out. Okay, I see E's, I see S's. Let's see. I feel like I see more who are voting embossing folder than I do stencil, which is shocking to me. But you're in the right place. You're definitely in the right place, because I would vote E. I would definitely vote E, although I love a good stencil. Like I said, it's hard for me to not love something that has to do with card making. Okay, so we've got our backs, and these are nice, beautiful, shiny gold. But I feel like this needs a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of color here, and we're going to add some embossing paste to it. So the colors that I used are these. FYI, uh-oh, I hate it when it does that. Rachel, who knows why that happens? Okay. Yes, so when you're using things like this and you get something messy on the top, do not clean it off with alcohol. If you want to keep your color, okay, alcohol wipes this off, which is why this one is completely white, because I was trying to clean up, I dropped it and got ink all over it, and so I grabbed an alcohol swipe. Not a good plan. Not a good plan. So let's add a little color to these, and we're going to be kind of messy with it. We're just going to add some quick color. I'm going to use these. This is what somebody was asking. This is the storage holder that Altenew sells for their brushes. I'm going to use these smaller brushes for this detail work, because it's just, they work great for these little details. And I love having a brush that's yellow, so I can just use it. Okay, I see some E's. Rachel, which one do you think won? I really think embossing folder might have won. I would love to see what y'all say. So I'm going to start with golden honeycomb, which is our lighter of them. And remember, you're not going to see this middle part, so you're just kind of going out onto these little floral petals, okay? And so I'm just getting some color kind of about halfway, just so they have some fun dimension to them. Yeah, they do add. I see a stencil. Somebody said, no, I'm a stencil girl. That's fine. So do you see the difference? You see why I add a little ink to the middle? I mean, look at the difference in these two. It's just so drastic. So I'm going to add a little bit of the same to this one. And just kind of, and I'm not really, like I said, I'm just making it kind of messy, because we're going to add some gold to it as well. Okay, we're going to make this real fun. And on our card that we're putting together with the sunflowers, I've got some decisions for y'all to make. I think we should try to change something up on it that I found in my stash. I'm going to add to it, and I think y'all are going to love it. I don't know why I didn't think about it when I first made the card, but we're going to do it during the live, and it's going to be super fun. I think you're going to love it. Okay, so we got some good color. If you want to come in and create any darker color, you can. I'm going to add just a little bit darker. Really probably doesn't matter, because we're going to come in with that gold, but I just like the look of adding that darker orange there. It's called Amber Blaze. And I'm going about 1/3 of a way on this one. That one I got a little crazy on, sorry. I was talking. Okay, so we got some color here on these. Looks beautiful. You could even go with this melted one if you want. Yeah. So much to learn, and sometimes the hard way. So you could even come in with some of this browner color, which is called melted butterscotch. I think it looks nice too, but you don't have to. Just depends on how much color you want on yours. I'm going to be a little bit messy with mine. Okay. So remember, the middle is not going to show, just the little flowers. So just make sure you got some good color that you can see. And then we're gonna add some gold. I'm gonna put my gloves back on and I'm gonna add gold on these edges because it's gonna look amazing. Okay. Questions, concerns? I also told y'all we're gonna give this away later today, so stay tuned. We're giving away this Fine Joy stencil. So if you wrote an S, that's good. I got a stencil for you. It's from Patty today. She sent that to me so that I could give it away during the live stream. And she's just so sweet. She sends some extra stuff sometimes. Yes, alcohol. So Lynette, alcohol, I cannot believe I did that. I had no idea that would happen, and I haven't done it again, but it just makes you so aggravated because I wanted them all to look nice and uniform, and then I wiped the whole color off of that beautiful thing. So now here's what we're gonna do. We are going to add just a little bit of gold to the edges of these, okay? Yeah. PSA, do not clean any photopolymer with alcohol. Thank you. So you can use your little sheet again if you need to. But what I'm going to do is start from the middle and add gold. Okay, and this is just adding sparkle to our card. You could do this with something like embossing. You could do it with all kinds of things. You could do it with a gold pen, but it's really fun with this paste. So just adding sparkle up the flowers, and you'll see that I'm kind of going the direction that the petal goes. Just helps me with it when I'm using it, just to kind of follow the petal and add that gold. All right. All right, let me show y'all that up close. Can you see those little petals? Can you see that gold? In person, it looks so amazing. I hope you can get that glimmer. It looks really cool. Really cool. Yeah, the gold does look like peanut butter. So this is I've used almost this whole thing of gold. And so it is getting a little bit thicker than some of my others, but in general, relief paste is kind of thick. So that it has some dimension to it. See how it kind of like waves up like that? It is a thicker paste. And if you let it dry like that, it would stay that shape on your paper. So I'm just using little amounts right now on this. I could goop it up and we could really get tons and tons of like stand-up gold, but I don't want to do that because I don't want it to take forever to dry, and I also just like the look of that subtle gold. Can you see that? How we just added subtle gold to it? Looks beautiful. Okay, that looks so good. So while we let these couple of flowers dry, I'm going to set this off to the side again. I'm going to add a little bit of color to our leaves, and then we'll assemble this card, okay? And we're going to add our extra detail to the card as well. Let me wipe up this paste. Once again, I wipe this mat too sometimes you could use baby wipes. I'm actually using Windex in this just because I've got a spray bottle of it. I don't say you always have to use it. You could use something else, but I am going to use Windex, and it really does come off pretty well. You may need to scrub just a little bit, but it does come off. That's why I use the piece of plastic when I'm doing a whole lot of it, because I don't want to have to clean it up, but it gets it off, and it gets the color off good. Unless you use red, which will stain your mat, as you can see from my red use. Okay, so I'm getting all that green stuff that we had done too. So now let's put a little bit of green, and it dries pretty fast too, so you can go ahead and put your leaves down. Here are our leaves. And did I tell you what color I cut those leaves out of? I'm sure I put it in my supply list, but let me tell you so you know, because we're going to use those colors. Okay, so I believe this is Mossy Shadow. Let me see. Misty Sage. Okay, so this is Misty Sage, which is the same as this one. And then I have some more colors in that I'm going to use to get a little bit darker. And I'll probably use my smaller green. Probably use one of these. Yeah, so Arlene, I use Dawn on my sticky mat as well. So if I had a bowl or a sink, I would put Dawn in it, and that helps clean it up as well. And I'll use like a little scrubby brush if something dries on it. Okay, so let's add a little bit of this to the greenery. It doesn't have to be much. We're just giving the other thing. Yes, Beth, I agree, it does work. We're just giving it some time to dry. And most of these leaves aren't going to be seen. So if you make it real dark at the edge, don't worry about it. You're tucking it underneath a thing. So we're just getting some variance in color. So I don't worry about how that looks. I just do it. And just add some color. Okay. Just makes the leaves look cool. It just gives them a little bit more excitement because, you know, they're beautiful die cuts, and it kind of highlights when you add any ink to it, even though you've got it on a green piece of cardstock. Sometimes adding the extra ink just makes those little veins show up better, you know? Looks cool. All right, I'm gonna add just a little bit to this too. Sometimes I just take my stem and just add it in certain areas just to give it some change. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. So that's Mossy Maddow. I might put just a smidge of green opal too. We'll see. And I just start at the bottom and brush it up the leaf. Okay, a little bit more here. Whoops, got him a little dark, but that's okay. Okay. All right, our greenery's ready. Okay. Let me see if this is dry enough. It actually is. Look, it's not getting on my finger at all. So Anne says, is there a cleanser you should not use on your sticky mat? I haven't found one, but let's let Misty see, or Mitzi see if she knows if there's any type of cleanser you should not use on the sticky mat. I've used alcohol, I've used Windex, I've used baby wipes, I've used Dawn, I've used plain water. All of those have been fine. So whether that is correct or not, I don't know. I love inking too, Carol. Okay, so I think we got Team E was everybody earlier. That's awesome. Very awesome. So Rachel, when we do the giveaway, I'll tell you, we'll have a question and I'll have you draw, but I'll need you to let me know who that winner is later, because sometimes the replay, I can't see it right afterwards. So just text me later, Rachel, when we do it. We'll probably do it in about 10-ish minutes, okay? Alrighty, so let's start assembling. So you see how I've got number 1 and number 1, okay? They have different things. This one has an arrow. Do you see that arrow? That does not go with this one. You see how that's got a triangle? You're looking for what it has in the center, and that center does punch out. So see how this one has a triangle? That's how the keyhole system works. You fit the triangles together to layer your flowers. Everyone says you're not supposed to use alcohol on sticky mats. Oops. I haven't had a problem with it, but I don't do it all the time, but I have done it. Sorry. Didn't know that was wrong. I'm gonna have a sip. Are y'all sure that that's not the case on those sticky mats that are like Cricut mats? Because on those, it'll take the sticky off, but with this, it's just silicone. So are you sure that it will ruin it? I'm not sure if that's the case with this type of sticky mat, but let's see if Altenew has anything to say about it. I won't make any promises, but with my sticky mat that is silicone, I haven't had trouble with the alcohol. Now, I've had trouble with the alcohol when it is, sorry, lining these up. When it's on something like this, look. So sticky mat like this, it's more like a Cricut sticky mat. It has an actual adhesive on it. Alcohol will definitely ruin that one. But y'all want to test it on the sticky mat? Let's see what happens when we put alcohol on it. Let's see if it still feels sticky. I can do that real quick. I got alcohol right here. Okay, so I'm gonna just put it on here. We'll just let it sit and we'll see what happens to it later, okay? I'm gonna put it right there and we'll see what happens. And I will tell you if that spot is still sticky or not. We'll test it out. Okay, so we got 1 and 2 here, so we can put a little bit of glue right here. Line this one up. I love how easy it is to line these up. It used to be so hard. Does the Simon Hurley sticky mat, does it have that like adhesive on it, or is it like this Altenew one where it's like a silicone? Okay, so there's our 2 flowers, and this one is going to be the one that's kind of faced backwards. And then we've got the center. See how it's still got this? So it kind of helps you line up the center as well. Okay, so you know how your center goes, which I love. So I can line up my triangles. You see that? Perfect. And then to cover up that hole, they always give you an extra piece to cover up the hole. Yeah, stencils are... Okay, Mitzi, if you're there, do you know about the alcohol thing? And also, how many of you have found me from Facebook? I'm having a lot of new people from Facebook lately. And I'd love to hear if you're one of them. So with this one, I'm just lining it up as the shape because we've got to have this open spot. So you see how there's that little edge right there? And there's an edge right here. It fits perfectly. So it's pretty easy to line up. Okay. And then I'm going to put this little guy around the center. Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know. So somebody said it will destroy this. Another person said it will destroy the sticky mat over time. I will do some research on that. How about that? I'll do some research and I will find out what they say based on the manufacturer, and I will tell y'all at the next live what I found out. Okay? Look at this. Is that beautiful or what? Okay, then on this one, since it's facing backwards, we've got some parts that go with it, and you see how everything has a arrow so you know where it goes. Okay, you got 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we've got 3, 4, and 5. So it's easy to line up. And it only takes a couple little glue dots. So here we go. 3. That's number 3. This one's number 4. Yeah, so Mitzi said she'll confirm with the team as well too. We'll let you know for sure. Like I said, I just stuck some alcohol on mine and we'll see if it seems like it's any less sticky. It could be that it's an over time thing. So I'll make sure. Sorry about that. I don't know. I am kind of willy-nilly with my stuff because I use it so much. Mine is like, it's one of those things that I know I'm going to use. Okay, so we got 5 and you got an open hole. That's where this comes in, right here. Okay, so that's where your stem comes in to cover up your number 5, okay? So you can stick it right over there and it works perfectly. How nice is that, okay? So I'm going to cover up the number 5. So there's always a piece to cover up the final hole. So you see how there's a hole there and you don't want that showing? There's always a piece that will cover it up, which is kind of cool. So this is the backwards flower. Here's our front flower. And we got lots of leaves to put on it. So let's get our background. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. And I already have an idea, okay? So here's the idea that we're going to do. We're going to take votes on this next part, okay? I need to let that stick for a second. We're going to vote on whether you think that I should add, so I'm going to put all these little leaves here. We've got our nice sentiment here, and I think that it would be really cool to add this. I found this, you know how you just have extra things in your drawer? I'm thinking about adding this wax seal to it too. Just putting it like right there. And we have our cute sentiment that's going to go right there. What do y'all think? Wax seal, yes or no? And from those yes or no's, Rachel, we'll do the giveaway. So wax seal, yes or no. And your yes or no is your entry into the giveaway for this stencil. Okay? So Rachel, we'll hit it right now and give them a little time to answer yes and no on whether they think I should add the wax seal to this card somewhere, or if they think I should leave it off. Okay, this is one from a release a couple months ago. I think it's a sunflower, but I just thought it was awesome. It came in that set that I did, the honeycomb set. Came in that CYL Craft Your Light kit, I think, or it coordinated with it really well. Okay, so let me get this stuff ready. Punch out the holes of just a note. Okay. Debbie says she likes both ways. We got some no's. See some yeses. No, too much. Yeah, I was thinking that might be the case, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to put this like right here. I like to go ahead and lay my parts out before I start gluing them, because that way I can kind of see where they're going to go. So we got here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this guy down, and then we'll start adding some leaves. No, leave it off. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to set it right here so you can look at it. You can decide. Okay, let's get this guy down. Okay, we'll put that one right there. Yeah, I know it's a lot. I agree. I just thought, why not throw everything in the world on this one? I could even put it right here. Right here. Could put it right here. Covers that up a little bit. Okay. Okay, Diana is the winner. Okay, Diana, you need to make sure that you email me so that I can get your address and send you that, okay? Okay, I think the general consensus is no, don't add it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the middle of this glued down, and then we're going to start adding some leaves around it. I think we're going to go kind of right here. Okay, and then we'll add all our leaves. And see how you can pull these little, like if you want to make this more 3D, you can pull these little petals up if you want to. I made that one kind of 3D. Okay, too big and too dense. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start adding some leaves. So what I did is I glued the back of the leaf, and then I'm going to kind of just put it underneath the petals and just arrange it however feels right. Okay, put one here. I kind of like that one there. Let's see. Let's go more around this way. That way you can see them a little bit better. Okay. I like the shape of that one. Congrats, Diana. So I'm going to actually make myself a little sticky note to remind me. Now, if you don't care if your leaves hang off, I don't mind. So you can always do that too, however you want to do it. Okay. Look at that. Okay, we still need to put just a note on there. But look at how it's looking. Super cute, yeah. So this is too much. Too much stuff on there. Yeah. Or here. Yeah, it seems like a little bit much. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll save that for another card. Let me go ahead and put the just a note down too. And then we will be done with this card and we can work on our time one. So Diana needs to email me. If you're not on my email list, then join it so that you can email me. All right, so that one I need to hold it down with an acrylic block because it's just, here we go. There we go. We'll hold that, and then we got to get our little dot, which hopefully I didn't lose in the process, but I might have accidentally lost that. I told you I always lose the dot. I'll find it and put it together. Oh, here it is. It was off on the edge. Yeah. Tamara, is your birthday, are you the one who has a birthday this month? If you are, Tamara, let me know, because I tried to do a birthday giveaway last time and I picked somebody, but they never claimed it. So if you need a birthday card, I might have to send you one. The tittle, yes, it's always, you always lose that little thing, don't you? Okay. All right, so we'll let that dry. Let me show you. I'm going to cut off this little spot right here. So on this card, we used our embossing paste so many ways. Hang on, let me get a little. I need to wipe off my glue really quick. Okay, so on this card, we did through the stencil with a glove so that we didn't make it too raised up. It's still got some height to it, but it's not super raised up. Then we used it right here on these beautiful, can you see that beautiful shine? Okay, Tamara, so Tamara, if you will email me too, I'll send you a birthday card. I post replay winners on, so whichever live there is a replay of, in the pinned comment, I will post the replay winners. So after this, I'm also going to give away something to our replayers. So don't worry, if you're on the replay, you can still enter a giveaway. I'm going to send this die cut to somebody on the replay. So I will post that in the pinned comment 1 week from the live. So next Friday, this will be posted, and it's so hard to get a hold of people on YouTube. So I try to post it, I try to tell them, but I don't have your email address, so it's not very easy for me to get in touch with you. So always check that pinned comment. So this will be for our replay winners. I'm gonna send you this die cut. This is also from Patty. So she really gave us a few little giveaways today, and that's very exciting. So, all right. So here is our beautiful card. Look at that. Awesome. And we've got a nice coupon code for this. Now, let's work on the beautiful time one. Let's see if everything's dry. So let me put this back here. So here's where we are with this one, okay? We can turn it whichever way we want to. We need to do a little bit of die cutting, and then I'm going to show you how I did the vellum circles, okay? So let's look at this beautiful embossing folder. I went on and put it up, but I didn't need to do that. So when I was looking at this embossing folder, I thought, what if you only had this embossing folder? Like, how many different things could we do with just the embossing folder? And here's what I came up with. If you have, you can do this freehand, but if you have circle dies, okay, you can look at it and figure out which circle fits these little clocks. So here's what I did. So you enter for the replay giveaway by going, once this becomes replay, comment on the replay. So if you were here and later today you want to stop by and comment on the replay for your chance to win that, okay? So here are all these circle dies. What I did was look approximately what size these were. I think I've already got them in my hand. So I kind of just took my circles and said, that's a little bit too big. Ooh, that one fits that clock pretty well. Because what we're going to do is we're going to cut out some of these clocks and we're going to emboss them. So I'm going to cut them out in vellum. So these two worked really well. I got these two that fit. I could get a smaller one and fit that one if I wanted to, but I thought these two were kind of nice. So you could do this by hand. You could just cut these out by hand if you wanted to, but I'm going to use 2 circle dies and we're going to use some thick vellum. We're going to emboss the vellum. We're going to add paste to the vellum. It's going to be awesome, okay? So let's grab the vellum that I'm using today. This is the one that I'm going to use. And when you're looking at your vellums, this one's from Amazon. It's a thick vellum. Here's the brand name. It's just a little thicker than some other ones. And so I'm going to use it because putting that paste on it will make your vellum want to wrinkle up a little bit. So you definitely want to check that out. So I'm just going to get a couple pieces and we're going to cut out some circles. I'm actually just going to trim a piece off here. But this vellum's just a little thicker than some of the others. So I'm actually just going to take a little piece and trim it out of here. Not even take it all the way out. And this vellum's just on Amazon. So I don't think it's on my supply list because it's hard to put Amazon links on your supply list, but I do have an Amazon store that it's in. So if you are on Amazon and you want to shop with me, you go to Nicki Hearts Cards, shop Nicki Hearts Cards basically, and it'll come up and it'll show you lots of products I use from there, okay? So this is the vellum. That's the brand name, okay? All right, let's cut some circles out of this and then we're gonna send them through this embossing folder. So I'm gonna cut some vellum circles with my die cutting machine. And then I'm going to show you how I did this. Awesome. Yes. So tell me, do y'all use mini wax seals? I know that we thought the wax seal was a little bit too much on that last card, but do you use them very often? And if you do, tell me what you do. Do you put them on like a stem of flowers or do you just add them in? I would love to hear that. I also want to see, tell me yes or no, have you ever embossed vellum? It's a little tricky. I'm going to show you a couple tricks. It's because it's kind of like a plasticky paper, okay? Almost hard to pick up. Thank you, Anne. Yeah. Yeah, the wax seals look really good with the floss behind them, I agree. So let me put up these two circles and then let me show you how I emboss this. So when I am embossing on vellum, I usually do, I don't know if it helps or not, but I usually do spray the back with just a smidge of water, okay? So we got our little water sprayer here. Okay, so I'm gonna just put just a little bit, not much. And then we're going to emboss them. So when you are embossing, there are two sides of this folder. There's the raised side and I think people often call it the debossed side, where it's going down versus raising up. So here's how I'm going to set this. The part that I want to see is the raised up part, okay? So I have my water on and I've got my circle here and I got my circle here and I'm lining it up in the folder. We can do more lining up when we close the folder, but sometimes you get lucky. Okay, so now I've got my folder closed. Okay, so if you go with mountains and valleys, I've got the mountains underneath. Okay, the valleys are on the top. So it's going to push the image this way. Push it this way. Okay, got it? Well, let's send it through an embossing folder or embossing machine. So I'm not going to do any extra pressure because vellum sometimes will crack and no big deal if it does, but I'm going to leave it at its general basic pressure. And I'm going to use this machine because I love embossing with this machine. This is a Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I'm going to roll it through in that same sandwich we just had. Okay. Doesn't sound like it did anything. I may have to add some pressure. We'll see. But sometimes I'm just shocked at how much it does with nothing. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, here we go. Let me get this off so you can see better. Let's put these out of the way. Okay, here's what it looks like. Look at those. You could leave them like that and that would be perfectly fine. But I'm going to add these to this card and I am going to, look at how cute that looks. Oh my goodness, that looks adorable. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to add a little color to them and we're going to add some paste. So if you haven't added color to vellum before, I'm going to show you. It works pretty easily. It's like embossing on it, or I mean ink blending on it. And for some reason, I don't know if every ink works, but Altenew inks work fine. It doesn't seem to rub off. Yeah, so yes, so some people use a piece of copy paper in there when they're embossing their vellum. That is perfectly fine. Sometimes that works better, but I just do it straight like this. Super fun. Okay. Alrighty, sorry, I need to set this back away here. Okay, so let's get our sticky mat, which I did put alcohol on. Let's see how it's going. Let's see how the alcohol is doing. I can't tell anything different, but like we said, we will find out from the manufacturer if you can put alcohol in these or not. It doesn't seem any less sticky, but what ifs. Okay, so let's add a little color to these. I'm just going to use leftover color on my brush, the green that we had, and that's just because it's really white and I thought it looked a little bit better darker. Can you tell the difference? So if you need to add any extra, you can grab some more ink, but I'm just using what's on my little ink blending things because they all have just a little bit of ink on them. Okay, so we're going to do that. You know, okay, and then I'm going to make sure they're nice and flat, which they are, and we're going to add a little bit of this gold to them, okay? So got our gold there. Let me grab another one of these. Okay, let's see if this is still, that's mostly dry, so let me get just a little bit more. So how do y'all, I would like to hear, I know I've seen this in some live streams and I mean to write it down. Tell me what you use to adhere vellum if you use vellum. Okay, I'm going to do that little bit and we're going to go along the edges. And you don't want to put too much of this gold on because it is a wet product and it makes it want to curl. So I'm just kind of going along the edges and then I'm going to rub over those numbers a little bit. So just kind of rubbing it on here. I think I might need just a little bit more. Okay. Just kind of going along the edges here. Just lightly. And just think like a mixed media look. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it looks amazing that it's got all that nice sparkle on it. And then I kind of lightly go over the numbers. Oh, did they respond in the chat? Okay, so good to know. So apparently alcohol is not good to use on your sticky mat. Good to know. I'm glad we cleared that up. Now I'll know forever. So I used it on my sticky mat. Sorry about that. I haven't had trouble, but don't do it, they said. But you can use Dawn on it. Perfectly fine. Okay, so I've got some, can you tell that I've got this nice glittery effect now to that? You can always add a little bit more if you want. Just don't get it too crazy because it makes these want to bend up. So what are y'all using for, so you tap glue on with a silicone brush to your vellum. That's awesome. Okay, I'd love to hear what everybody else is using for their vellum too because we may need to do that a little bit. Okay, I'm going to let these dry for just a second. Let me kind of lift them off here. We'll set these aside. Doesn't take long for this to dry in such a thin manner, but I want to get them off of here so that I can wipe off my mat and get this part off too. Okay, let's wipe that off really quick and then we will start putting this card together. So yeah, I do hide it behind embellishments as well. It's good. I might try that tapping the glue on. What kind of glue do you use when you tap glue on to your vellum? I'd love to know what you're using. Okay, well, I'll use this for now to get this off. Actually, I'm going to use water in this. Well, is Windex alcohol too? I'm sure it is. I'll find that out too. I'm going to get this off since I don't have a bowl to put it in immediately. And we're probably going to use this again, so FYI. Yeah, I've done some tape runner. I haven't found a great one. I heard on one of these lives, somebody told me that there's an actual vellum tape runner, and I'm not sure what the name of that is. I don't know if anybody's tried it or not, but to me, you can always see a little bit of it. Having the paste on there kind of helps. So, there we go. Alrighty, so one thing that happens when you use paste is sometimes you get a little bit of warping. Plus, I've also sent this through an embossing folder. So I'm going to add some stuff to make this panel flat as well. But let's go ahead and get our die cuts done so that we can do this. So one other thing that I did is I pre-made some of my own cardstock, and I used this paste and I just spread it flat on a piece of white paper, okay? We are going to cut out our sand for our hourglass from this. We're also going to cut part of our sentiment out. And we're going to do some fun stuff with the sentiments where you use a partial sentiment from another stamp set to create what you want. Because this stamp set or this set has timeless in it, but it didn't have anything else. So I needed the words you are or something else with that to be able to do it. So that's what I did. And I'll show you with the die set. I think I saw Tiffany here. Hi, Tiffany. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is our die set that we're using called Timeless Sands. And see how it has the word timeless with it? Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for coming. We're going to use this word and we're going to use part of this sentiment and create our You Are Timeless. So this is Magnolia Blooms. It has all kinds of little cute sayings, but all I need is the you are, and I didn't have it anywhere else. So I'm going to show you how I got that onto this. So first we'll cut out a few of these, and we're going to cut out the sand in this beautiful gold. Let's get it out of here. So this only has a few parts, pretty easy. It's got this part right here, that's the edge. It's got the sand, and then what looks like the glass and that one word. So it's going to be pretty easy. Let's go ahead. We know we're going to cut out the word timeless and the sands from this gold. So let's go ahead and send those through. That's what they look like. Okay. Alrighty. So let me get these here. And it just makes a beautiful look. Like if you don't have gold paper, but you have gold paste, you can die cut and make your own colored cardstock, okay? So here. So I'm going to send that through, and then we will make these other die cuts. And I am going to use even the negative space in these die cuts. So this die cut, I realized the middle looks like a torn piece of paper. And so I'm going to use that middle for my sentiment, even though technically that's not part of this die, but it cuts it out and it looks really cool. So I'm going to cut that one out of a couple colors. Let's show you what these look like. Look at how beautiful that is. Carefully get this one off. So we've got our sands. See that beautiful gold? You could do that with gold cardstock too. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to use this so that I can make sure I keep all of my little pieces here together. And this paste does make the paper a little bit thick, so just kind of go slow. Go slow when you're taking it out of there. Make sure it cut all the way through. So we got the word timeless. It actually has a little tittle there for the dot. We'll see if we can keep up with that long enough to put it on the card. I don't think I used it on the original. Okay, so we got timeless. We got our sand right here. I'll put this in here too, just so we don't lose our gold pieces. And then we need to cut out this part. So let me move this out of the way. I'm going to cut this out of black, and I'm going to cut it out of white, and we'll do a little bit of ink blending to create the brown. Okay, so we've got this piece that I'm going to use the vellum because I just thought it looked cool in vellum as well. So I'm going to use this one for vellum, which we have a piece somewhere around here. Yep, I got this little extra piece right here. This vellum is something that Tiffany told me about. This is one of the ones she likes to use, and I really love it. It's that thick vellum. And this one, we'll just ink blend it. Probably have an excess piece of paper around here. Yep. So I need one in white and I need one in black. So here will be our white one. See how we're doing. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel's so helpful to me. Y'all say thanks, Rachel. We appreciate it so much. I'm a little over my normal. I tried to do this an hour and a half, but when we do 2 cards, it's just not possible. Okay, so if you are coming in late, we do have an exclusive coupon to Altenew. Look at how cute that looks. Doesn't that look like glass? Perfect. Okay, and so we've got a white one of these, and here's what I'm talking about. Look how that looks like. This is what our sentiment's going to end up going on, except in black. Let me cut out the black one because it makes the perfect little square that looks perfect with these. And our beautiful hourglass. Okay, let me cut that hourglass out of black too, so we'll have kind of a shadow, and we'll also have our place that we're going to create our sentiment. Thank you for posting all of that for me, Rachel. And if y'all have other questions, Mitzi can probably answer them for us today, okay? So let's cut this out of black. And the reason is because I wanted to create a shadow and because I wanted to have a black sentiment too. Okay, so we're going to cut that out to have an extra layer. Let's send it through, and then we'll do a little bit of ink blending. Okay, let's go ahead and make, okay, so here's what we've got for our sentiment. You see how perfect that is? It's gonna look so good right there. And then we got a little shadow for our hourglass too. Sometimes it's nice to have some black behind it. It just helps it show up a little bit better. So we're done with die cutting for the day, I believe. Yay! Now we just get to do some ink blending and assembling. All right, so tell me, are you with your vellum, I saw a couple said glue, some said dot runners. Tell me if you have a specific vellum that you love, what you're using. I'm going to add some foam to the back of this panel to keep it flat. Okay, look at how beautiful just the back looks. Isn't that amazing? Oh, so this is some double-sided adhesive foam, and I'm going to create a flat panel, and then we're going to add all of our stuff onto it. So we'll do a little bit of ink blending and add that on. So earlier I was talking, if you're into the live a little bit later, I am teaching a class at the Card Maker Success Summit. Make sure you sign up. There is a free ticket. There are paid tickets. Paid tickets get some more bonuses and things like that. You see how that makes the panel flat? Okay, so now we got a nice flat panel to work with. Let's add just a little bit of ink blending to this. And I used some new colors. I used these new colors. Alrighty. That's a good idea, Arlene. Okay, we're going to use a little bit of earthy rose and probably just deep spice, but I'm going to get all three of those out there. There's also sunlit sand if you want to go that. Yeah, I like those vellums as well. I like the scrapbook.com vellum. I just really like this super thick vellum that Tiffany recommended as for this type of inking. Okay, let's get out my brown blending brush. And we'll do some fast blending on this one. I'm gonna just do kind of the middle earthy rose. Yeah, which colors are you looking for, Nancy? Are you excited about these browns? The earthy rose is kind of like just the base color. I'm not gonna make a big fuss out of it, but I'm gonna add it in here. And then I'll bring in my shadows with the others. So I just thought it looks really nice on this. And it is a good sand color too. So let's do a little toasted paprika. I also was telling you, if you haven't followed me on Facebook yet, please do. I do lots of reels and fun stuff there, and I don't want y'all to miss out. I try to announce things when I can on there, but upcoming is my 30,000 subscriber celebration, and it is going to have, we've got sponsors. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an Instagram hop, so you'll need to make sure you join us there, but you do not want to miss out on all the prizes. Okay, and then I'm going to do this a little bit darker. This is deep spice. Great color. I love this deep spice. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, love it. I just think it's a great, great brown. So that's why I ink blended this. One, just because it gives it a little bit more excitement, but also I just love it. That is a beautiful brown. Okay. All right, so that's all the ink blending we're going to do. Now we're going to get our pieces glued together, and then I'm going to show you how I did that sentiment where I used a partial sentiment. So for here, I'm just going to glue this slightly off of that black so that you can see it. Do I need to put a white piece of paper under that? Let me put this over white so you can kind of see. Okay, so I've got two here, and I'm going to glue this one slightly off center, okay, so that we've got a little extra. Y'all tell me too, what's your favorite glue? I know everybody has an opinion on glue. I'd love to hear what your faves are. So just a little off center, just so you can kind of see that shadow. You see what I mean? Yeah, they are really beautiful colors, Diana. Diana, did you make sure to email me since you won the giveaway? All right, so look, it's got a nice shadow behind it. It's gonna look so good. Okay, so we got this going on. We got our cute vellum. I did the vellum, I did just a little bit of sticky. See how it kind of fits behind? So I'm just gonna add a smidge of glue right at this little area right here, and that will hold our vellum and not squish onto it. So somebody said, I noticed you fold your mat in half. Do you store it that way, or do you do that to keep the site clean? Well, I usually store it that way. I use my mat almost every day though, so it's not like it stays like that forever, but I tend to have both of my mats stored folded. I also have a spot I can put it flat in a drawer if I need to, but it's just convenience wise, this fits a little bit better. Plus this side isn't as sticky as this side. And so sometimes I'll get things on my desk stuck to it, but I tend to leave mine like this on top of my embossing machine. Like I said, we have well established this time that I may be wrong on how you can clean those. So who knows, I may be wrong on how you store those too. I'm just telling you what works for me in the real world, but I use them often. Okay, so here's our gold. Oh gosh, that's gonna look so cute. Okay, let's go ahead and put our gold, and then we'll see if those little vellum pieces are dry, if we can go ahead and put those, start looking at how they're gonna look. So I'm going to just stick my gold here. Did just a little bit of glue on that too. Okay. All right, so there's my cute little timeless sands. So easy, so easy. Okay, now let's look at our vellum pieces. Let's see if these are dry. Yep, they are dry. So I think I'm going to kind of arrange mine just to kind of overlap here with the sentiment. So I'm going to use this for my sentiment, and it'll also help hold them down. And then I'm going to put my time thing over here, okay? So I'm going to set this stuff aside so we can get the sentiment ready. Now, what I did with this, you're going to need a stamp positioner. And we're going to need a little bit, we're going to use a little bit of heat embossing. So we're going to need a powder tool. So powder this, okay? I know it's going to look like a mess, but powder it. And then we're going to do that little stamping on it, okay? So I'm going to put this right here in the middle. Okay, pressing it down, hopefully without my fingerprints. And then, like I said, we are going to use partial parts of a stamp, and I'm going to show you what I did. So when you take this UR, it says, so stay true to who you are, okay? But UR is the bottom part. So here is how I partial stamped this. Take a piece of washi tape, and it could be whatever you want it to be, but I'm going to cover up this part. I'm going to cover up the top writing, okay? Right here, okay? Can you see how I covered it up? So now, let's look at it. So now you can see that I just have UR. See how I did that? Okay, so once I set it down, let's line it up. The other nice thing is you can hold it by the tape, and we'll set it down and see where we want it to go. Because we've got this little word here, we need to make sure timeless fits on our. Sorry, I have to concentrate for just a sec. Make sure I got them both fitting. Yeah, that's gonna fit just right. Okay, so now we're gonna stamp it. Tissue tape, interesting. Okay, I don't know what tissue tape is, Charlotte. Tell me about that, please. I'd love to know what tissue tape is, if she's using that for vellum. Okay, so now what we can do is stamp with clear. And I'm going to add some white heat embossing. Now, I'm not trying to put too much of it up here on this. If you see the way that I'm coming in, I'm trying to keep my ink off the washi tape just in case, but it's okay if you get a little on there. But okay, let's see how we did. Yep, I'm going to add just a little bit more just to make sure. So I'm going to take it, go like this. Make sure we got enough ink. Yeah. So do you like this kind of mixed media idea of using paste on your embossing folders? I'm interested to see who's interested in trying that. And I'd love to know which embossing folder you're going to use it on first. You see how I've got UR? Beautiful. Now let's grab that and put some embossing powder on it. Yeah, tell me who's going to try it. I'll set this off to the side. Oh, good. I'm glad you're going to try it, Terry. Awesome. That will be really fun. Okay, so here's my white embossing powder. I'm just going to put it on the UR part. I have done this paste on other embossing folders. It's so fun. Super fun. But I really love how it looks on this one. This one just looks to me, even though I'm using some sparkly stuff, it looks very masculine. Okay, so we got UR. Let's put this back in before we lose it. Okay. I use coffee filters for my embossing powder. If you are confused about embossing powder, or you are just intimidated by it, don't know what to do, then you definitely want to see my latest video. I took my top 10 ways to use embossing powder and made a mashup video. It's a longer video, but it's super fun. Oh, goodness, Nancy, with the textured blocks. That's going to look amazing. Those textured blocks have some different levels of height, so it may be easier to get it on a couple of the blocks and not quite as easy on some of the others. But just look at it and see what you think. Oh no, Arlene, I hate that it failed. It's a really light touch. You definitely want to go light touch, and that's why I like to use the little thing to tap it in with my, sorry, I had to get that going. Okay, so here is UR. You can go ahead and wipe that off with an anti-static powder to get it back to its original black color. I'm just using a microfiber cloth. Sorry, I lost the comments. Give me just a second. Ooh, I haven't tried that one, Judy. I don't know what that one's like, but I bet that would be good. Okay, so we got UR, and we need to add our little timeless here. I don't know what I did with my tweezers. Where did I put those? I'm gonna use these. And I got inky today. Tiffany Solario would be happy with me. She loves to get her hands all inky. So tell me, have y'all seen any really, like from the Altenew release, was there anything that you were just dying to have? Like, what was your favorite product this time, if you're an Altenew fan? If you're not an Altenew fan, no worries. I'm curious, like, which one was the most popular, you think? I think my most favorite, it's hard to say because they have so many different uses, but I really love those sunflowers. I think the sunflowers are super cute. But, sorry, I'm dropping this. I think I'm going to drop it multiple times. Okay. And then I can put my little timeless right here. So anybody have a favorite from this release? I am telling you, March's release is going to be amazing. You definitely want to wait. I'm going to have some videos, and it is going to be super fun. There's a new product that we can play with that is going to be awesome. I wish I could tell you more, but let's just say it's in that kind of like what we're doing today, except a cool new one that I cannot wait to share with you. All right. So here's where we are. I'm going to put a lot of adhesive on my sentiment so that hopefully it can hold my vellum down and I won't have to do any additional sticking them. So let me go ahead and add some to this. I'm going to need my skinny tape here. If I can locate it. All right, I'm just going to add a little bit of tape along the top and bottom here. And this is just some really skinny, like 1/8 of an inch double-sided adhesive. Sorry, my head's in the way. Yeah, Linton Grace is beautiful too, especially if you like watercolor. I saw it, yeah. The March release has got me so excited. We are going to do, I've got some fun masculine cards with it. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have so much fun with it. I don't even know how many like videos I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be a decent amount. Okay, so I'm looking at the middle right here on my mat and kind of putting this about middle. It may not be the middle of my clock, but it's kind of the middle of the card. And by middle, I mean up and down middle. See how that's the middle line right here? And I'm putting it close. So then we're gonna kind of spread these however you want. I might do them like kind of, I want to see what's underneath them. So I don't want them to be obstructing this part of it, but I want to be able to cover them up and hold them down, hopefully, with this. So I'm going to add some thicker double-sided adhesive to this. And then we can also, once we've got them stuck to this, we can put some adhesive on the back of the vellum and just kind of hide it. Yeah. Oh, did you get, so you saw the March sneak? Okay. Okay, crafty. Yeah, you know what's coming. It's gonna be fun. I have big news in March, but I can't tell you yet. So just stay tuned. There will be lots of fun and lots of exciting things happening. I will when I see you again for another Altenew live. Just trust me, we're gonna have some fun. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of put this right about here. And see how it's just stuck to the vellum? I'm going to add some vellum or some double-sided adhesive to the back. So yeah, if you haven't done it yet, hit the thumbs up. Make sure that you've got the Mitzi. I don't know if you can put in the coupon code. I know Rachel had to go. If you don't see the coupon in the chat, you can go back in the chat, and there is a 40% off coupon for the bundle of shimmer relief paste. So it's like a bundle of, I think, 6 of them, and it's 40% off with the exclusive coupon this week. So make sure you use that and use my affiliate link when you do. I think Mitzi can put that in there. If not, you can find it in my description. It'll be in the pinned comment. And then, of course, make sure if you want to enter on the replay for another giveaway, I'm giving away a die set, then make sure you do that. So I think I'm going to go right about, where do you think? Right about here? That looks about right to me. Okay. And so we could have moved this guy up just a little bit, but I like it like that. Look at all those. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I think this is perfect. So this is going to be a birthday card for my husband, most likely, because it's just masculine. It's still got a little bit of sparkle, but it just, I don't know. I love it. I love the gears. I love the clocks. I think it's such a great one. I think it'd be a great Father's Day card if you're making those right now. So that's how that turned out. What we used, just so in case you're wondering where I got the UR, I got it from Magnolia Blooms, which is an older Craft Your Life set. And you could take any stamp set that you have that has that UR and cover up the top if you needed to and stamp it just like I did. So I gave you a couple tips on that. If you want to enter on the replay, just go when the replay starts. You can watch it again, you can catch parts that you missed, or you can just make sure you comment on that replay. Make sure you tell me which was your favorite card. Let me grab all of them so you can see them. We got these. Find the other one. Here's my other UR Timeless. Oh, look, I did 2 different clocks this time. So when I make it live, sometimes I do just a little bit different. You see, we did a little bit bigger clocks than I did in my original card. So here's the original. Here's the one we made. Isn't that fun? So there's so many different things you could use. You could use different colors. You could use different size clocks. You could do whatever. But basically, we made this with an embossing folder, made all these pieces, and then we used this little die set and one stamp to create that. So it's super easy. The middle of this is the middle of the nice thing here. So it cuts out this little area that looks really good as a tag. How cute is that? Okay, so we made these 2. These were our Timeless Sands. Love them. And then, of course, we made the sunflowers. Oh, you made one with the folder? Okay, Crafty said she posted one in the fan group. Okay, I'd love to see that. I'm going to have to look at that later. Okay, look at these. So here's kind of what we created. And we did this one today. I did this one a few days ago when I made it for the release. Look at how beautiful that looks. I think I got my paste a little bit lighter on this one, but it also may be that this one's still drying a little bit. So beautiful. Okay, so we made all these cards. I know now that I've zoomed in, it's a little hard to get all of them in the frame. Try to get them in there. Might have to cover up just a little bit. But something for everybody. You got your flowers if you love florals. You've got some masculine ideas here. Just super fun. I really appreciate all of y'all joining me for this live stream. If you were one of the winners or you were the person, I think it was Tamara, who I was going to send a birthday card, you need to email me, okay? So make sure you email me. Oh, Altenew, thank you so much. They're so sweet. So make sure you email me that you're the winner. Make sure you go onto the replay to enter to win this little die set, and of course a cute little note for me. So good. Thank you, Arlene. Arlene, I know you love flowers. I thought I'd pick that would be you. Okay, so I enjoyed you all being here so much. Don't miss the replay. I will see you in March with tons of fun. In the meantime, of course, I'll be on social media. Make sure you're following me on Facebook. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I would love to see you in both of those places. And tag me if you make something like this. I'd love to see what you make. Tell me too, which of these two cards was your favorite? I just love to hear in the replay comments. Are you team Timeless Sands? Are you team Sunflowers? So let me know. Thanks so much. I had a great time with all of you and I appreciate you being here. I will see you very soon and we will have lots of new fun stuff to work with, okay? Have a great weekend. Don't forget to use the coupon code and make sure that you use my affiliate link. Yes, Tamra. Make sure that you email me about that card. All right, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope to see you soon. Also, in the comments, tell me, did you like the zoomed-in version better? Can you see better on my zoomed-in screen, or had you rather it be a little bit out further? Just tell me in the replay comments. I'd love to hear it. All right, I hope that all of you have a great weekend. Have a wonderful day. I hope it's warm where you are, and I just appreciate you being here so much. Make sure you've hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you soon. Let me pop back in here. I'll say a quick bye. Okay, so Mitzi, do you see that last comment that somebody's not having trouble? It's only showing 6% off, not 40% off. If you are still having trouble with the coupon code, please send me a message and I will work on that with you. And Mitzi will work on it too. I don't know if Mitzi's already gone. All right, y'all have a great day. Thanks for telling me. So sunflowers, like both cards. Good. All right, bye Cheryl. Thank you for being here. Bye Brenda. Have a great day. I'll see y'all soon. Yeah, Mitzi said that should reflect at the checkout. Sorry, I'll wait just a second to make sure you saw that. Okay, let me know if it doesn't. You can always email me. All right, I hope you have a great day. Bye.